What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and in this one, we're going to be going over yet again another training camp day in details on what happened. You guys really liked my last video on the coverage I gave on the individual day on the news that we got on what's happening in training camp, and I know that a lot of people want the news. They want to know what's going on, and with the lack of availability that we are getting from the media, of course, fans aren't welcome into training camp this year. I know that we're all really scratching the surface for this, so this is definitely going to be a new series. Whenever we get news on specific days that, how the Patriots training camp day went, I will make a video like this. So this day is going to be for 8/16/2020, August 16th, 2020. And if you would like to see the in-depth video I made for camp for the date of August 14th, you guys can go ahead and check out my channel. So some overall notes, some overall news here. This was a high-intensity practice for the group. They had a lot of great energy. I feel like that's something that we've been hearing a lot from training camp, is that they're very motivated. They're very ready, that it's just high-intensity, high motors, and that's what I love to hear, especially with a team that we're expecting to be extremely fueled up with how the mainstream media and fans even are treating this team. For 7-on-7s and full team drills, they were pretty much as good as those things are going to get. There was lots of chatter from both sides of the ball, meaning offense and defense. Good celebrations when an opposite side made a play, and really the offense and the defense were very much jawing at each other. For the overall day, the defense was better than the offense was today when it came to both 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s. I'm sure this isn't something that we are too surprised about. A lot of people are going to take this as, dang, the offense sucks, it's going to be lackluster. I saw some of these same comments from my past video, and I wouldn't necessarily go ahead and say that just yet. Keep in mind that this was the best overall rated defense in 2019 and is still expected to be a top 5 defense in 2020, so please keep that in mind also. The coaches communicated more with headsets, and they were also more there were more substitutions. Bill Belichick also set the team up a lot with that classic Bill Belichick situational football. A lot of red zone situations, a lot of goal line situations, and that seems to be something that Bill Belichick is really trying to capitalize. When you look at last season, what were some of the big issues for the offense? Capitalizing on the red zone when they got there, but also being able to capitalize when they got to the goal line. A lot of the times they got very close to being able to punch the ball in, and they just weren't able to. So this is a big situational football type of mentality that they have to get into, and something that they have to fix, especially when you have somebody like Cam Newton, a very mobile quarterback who changes the entire aspect of your offense. So moving on to the quarterback position, all of the quarterbacks, so all of Cam Newton, Jared Stidham, Brian Hoyer, they all got the equal amount of chances, equal amount of snaps today. No guy was over the other. It wasn't Stidham getting more. It wasn't Newton getting more or Hoyer getting more. They are really dividing this as even as possible, but all three of the quarterbacks did not have great days. There just was not much consistency, and there just really wasn't big plays. It is something to note, though, that all of the quarterbacks are working with different units continuously. They're working with different offensive lines, they're working with different skill positions and players, and so you're getting a bunch of different mixed results. It's not like each quarterback is playing with the starters, isn't getting the full offensive line and the full starting wide receivers and tight ends, so keep that in mind. And guys, just real quick, I gotta let you know that there is no shortage of action going on with our exclusive partner, BetOnline. Sports are slowly making their way back, and with the UFC, NASCAR, and soccer leading the way, BetOnline has all of the best odds and lines for the upcoming matches for this upcoming weekend. Of course, if you're like Patriots Global, I need more. Like always, your boy got you covered, because BetOnline has simulated NFL, NBA, and UFC events happening every single day, and they are live for you to check out. Of course, if you're looking for something other than sports, BetOnline has hundreds of live casino games, poker tournaments, and all of the best props in the business. Guys, visit betonline.ag or use your mobile device and join now to receive your new welcome bonus and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So moving on to the running back position, the run game got a lot of work today. There was a lot of emphasis on the run game, and Rex Burkhead is looking the best out of everybody. He's showing really great burst, he's shooting through the holes, and he's making really good cuts. That's exactly what you want to see from him. He's looking healthy, but of course, we know that we can't necessarily rely on Rex Burkhead to have a healthy season. I can't remember the last time that he actually did, but the fact that he's looking good, that is what you want to see. Burkhead was also involved a good amount in the passing game also. A little update on Sony Michel and Lamar Miller. They are both still currently on the PUP. They are not really involved in any of the running activities until they are taken off the PUP list. So kind of just on the sideline, having to watch and maybe kind of running through plays mentally. But physically, they are not able to be running or receiving or really doing anything at the running back position. So, it's not really telling to when it comes to those guys. Moving on to the wide receivers. Now, N'Keal Harry had an impressive grab versus J.C. Jackson. He really used his size to his advantage. He was really just out jumping J.C. Jackson, both physically and mentally, for a touchdown. The throw was from Cam Newton. Following that play, both Cam Newton and N'Keal Harry had a chest bump celebration. Now, Devin Ross and Jared Stidham also connected for a touchdown. Surprisingly, this was really interesting to me. Devin Ross actually beat Stephon Gilmore for that touchdown. Cam Newton was celebrating a lot after that play, although, of course, he wasn't a part of it. It was described that he was doing a, and I quote, Billy White Shoes Johnson type of celebration. So I think it's really cool that Cam Newton is really hyping up these guys, is really getting that hype and that fun mentality here in Foxborough, even when he's not the one making the plays. That is exactly what New England needs right now. They have to stay in that mentality of hard work, but you also got to have fun with it. If you're having fun with it and it doesn't feel like work, then it just plays a true difference on the field, and it's very visible. And we already talked about that. When Cam Newton was coming, he was going to bring that aspect, and he 100% is. So now moving on to some linebacker, because we did not get any news when it came to tight ends. We didn't get any news when it came to offensive linemen or the defensive linemen. So that's kind of when we just shoot straight to linebackers. So Juwan Bentley made a very impressive pass broken up on a play. Cash Maluia, who the Patriots drafted in, I believe, the 6th round of the 2020 NFL draft, he did a nice job of breaking up a touchdown pass that was intended for Ryan Izzo, and the throw was from down the seam from quarterback Jared Stidham. So it looks like Cash is getting some opportunities, and he's making his name heard, and I think that if he is able to continue to do this, he shows that he is able to continue to be a guy with good speed and is able to do well in pass coverage, which is essentially, I think, why the Patriots drafted him, along with his ability to play special teams. Then he could really find and carve himself out a role in the linebacker core with all the question marks that New England has this upcoming season. He could really get himself into that rotation, so I'm definitely rooting for him. Now, the linebackers worked a lot on the techniques today, more specifically learning how to strip the ball, drop it into coverage, and closing in on the ball carrier once the ball was caught. Now, moving on to the cornerbacks, undrafted free agent signing Miles Bryant had an interception on an overthrown ball at the backfield of the end zone. Both the McCourty twins, actually, they came and they celebrated it, giving him a lot of praise. They gave a lot of love to the rookie for that play. Who was the guy throwing the ball? I'm not sure. It wasn't said. But again, this really plays back into that mentality of they are really hyping up. They are really having fun in practice. It seems like they're focused. They're getting the job done. They're ahead of the game, but they're having a lot of fun, and they're really trying to just uproot and bring each other up. So now we're going to be moving on to the safeties. The defensive backs worked a lot on tracking deep balls. Of course, there were no wide receivers actually going up against them. I would expect some of that stuff to start on Monday, which I'll talk a little bit about at the end of this video. That did cause some trouble at times, but from what it sounds like, Justin Bethel made the most impressive grab, barely got his feet in and had to go up and get it. Some players who didn't catch it did, of course, have to do push-ups. And then lastly here, positional-wise, we move on to some special teams. Patriots rookie kicker Justin Rohrwasser got the most action today than he has ever gotten so far with the team. He got to do kickoffs, which of course is something to note because before today, we had punter Jake Bailey doing the kickoffs. So it's going to be very evident on, okay, who's going to be doing kickoffs? Is it going to be the punter or is it going to be the kicker? So that is something to watch, but he got the chance to do kicks today, like I mentioned, and he was booting the ball extremely well. He kicked about half a dozen kicks, but in team drills, he actually connected on a pair of 48-yard field goals. Now, as for Matthew Slater, he was Matthew Slater, had that Matthew Slater type of role today. You know how Matthew Slater is, but he did one drill, and he also spent a lot of times with Joe Houston practicing techniques. Justin Bethel and Joe Cardona later joined. So, guys, that is going to be all the news that we got for today. We're kind of getting the same type of information. It's, of course, different each day, but positional-wise, it usually seems to be the same positions getting the news. I do hope that we're able to hear a bit more from the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen once more contacts start. Speaking of that, Monday, which at this point is going to be the same time that this video is released, is the first day that the Patriots truly start training camp. Like, this is the actual start of training camp. This is where the good stuff happens. This is where more of the news is going to happen. And this is where the media finally gets let in. So I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing more photos. We're going to be seeing more videos and more in-depth positional notes from multiple different sources. Full pads go on, so it's definitely going to finally be a time that some good stuff and some interesting stuff is finally going to be happening. But that is going to be it for today's video. This is news and the note recap for the Patriots training camp on August 16th of 2020. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section below. Remember to give this video a big thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video.